4AG just rips. Right? Man. I really appreciate it. Should be okay. Fucking boys. Fucking teenagers.
These guys in there loud shit. Making ruckus.
We're making ruckus.
What are you doing in a rear-wheel drive car?
What are you talking about? This is a blacktop, right? Blacktop 4AG. It's just
No,
you moved it. No,
just, yeah, I put the other valve cover on.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to Automotive Anatomy. Today we have Dan. Dan, thank you so much for making the time for me.
Hey, thanks for making the time for me, man.
Dude, this is a unicorn for me. You have no idea how much I love 86s with a little surprise under the hood. So tell us, man, what do you drive?
So it's a 1985 Toyota Corolla. It was not a GTS to begin with. It was an SR5 model. It's got the Celica Super rear end on it, so it's pretty much beefed up a little bit more than a GTS would be. And like we talked about the surprise under the hood, but you could wait for that. Pretty much had it for, I want to say 4 years. My buddy Ash built it. When he built it, it had a F-Series in it, and it was white, and it was just his drift toy. And since then, I picked up drifting. I've competed a little bit in it, and I figured I had to make it pretty after I figured out I wasn't going to crash a whole bunch. So I painted it. It was 50 shades of white before, so I had it painted and threw some vinyl on. Rhino Customs and Detailing hooked me up with the vinyl like for free and did the installation and everything on it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Why an 86 though? What's your background in cars?
So I've had I used to grip drive GC8s back in the day, built a right-hand drive, built a little sedan, and now I have a wagon, a GF8. But I was always into grip driving. I made the mistake of riding with the guy who owned this car in this car for a drift event. And I was like, I'm getting a Corolla. But I started with a 240 in the drift scene before I rode with him in this. I had a 93 coupe with a SR, to stock SR in it, and that was my first kind of beater, you know, have fun, learn to drift car. It was too clean, it was too nice, brick headlights, the nice front end with the aero bumper and all that. So I got scared to compete in it because I didn't want to crash a pretty thing. And then my buddy happened to be moving to New Zealand and was like, yo, you want to buy the Corolla?
No way.
Sold, I'll buy it. So I bought it from him. He moved to New Zealand, and then the rest is just my lucky good fortune to pick up such a good car, well built, and everything's perfect on it.
Okay. And so, but obviously you did a lot of twists to it. What was your vision for it?
Really, it just manifested itself into what it is now. Like, I would never have thought when I bought it that it was going to be a fucking purple car with loud aero. I'm a factory aero guy. I like stock everything. And just as it progressed, it became the JDM bumpers for the Corolla are like 800 to 1,000 bucks a bumper now for a clean one, and I pick up the whole aero kit for like 400 bucks.
What?
So it's just like it just became.
You kidding me?
It's cheaper to make it look like that, like Need for Speed style, than to keep it stock looking. So that's why it turned into this. Color wise, my buddy Ash had it purple back when he bought it, like the factory purple that they sell it in.
Oh, nice.
Before he painted it white. So when I built it and I was done, I'm like, yo, tribute to you, man. I'm gonna paint this shit purple again, and there it is.
So yeah, I bet he's keeping up from New Zealand. Like, damn. Like,
yeah, he's happy. He's always telling me, man, I'm so proud of what you did with the car. When he sees me compete and people post videos, like, oh man, I can't believe that's my old car. So he's happy, even though he's on to bigger, better cars over there because they got all the JDM stuff. But still pretty good.
I think you're doing very well for yourself.
Thanks, man.
So then let's get into tell us about the front end, man. Now I'm pissed. You told us the price you got it.
Sorry. Well, I just got a connection that's got the Extreme Dimensions connection. So this is actually a copy of a Run Free kit. That's why it's so cheap. The
Still, now even reps anywhere.
Yeah.
For any, like, you know, Hondas or anything, it's just because they're hard to find. So tell us, what do you have going on?
So it's just pretty much the copy of the Run Free kit. It's nice. The fitment's really nice all around. The factory lights, the factory JDM lights fit in really nice. I haven't had any fitment issues with any part of it. The only downside is the rear bumper. I exploded the Run Free rear bumper, so I'm running a factory rear bumper right now with the JDM copy spats.
Wall tap or dip or what happened?
Friendly Fire.
Friendly Fire.
We'll
Okay.
just put it. Yeah, I was sliding with one of my buddies, non-competition, and their car had a 2J in it and a S14, and he just was faster. He said he got on it, and my little car was like, nah, a lot of noise, but not going anywhere. So
noise.
600 horsepower versus, you know,
Whatever.
what I got, just gave me one of those and blew the back bumper up. So I got another one. I just got to get it painted.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. Tell us about your suspension setup. What do you got going on?
So suspension setup wise, you know, I'm running pretty much the Tokiko. Ash put it on, so I'm not familiar 100% with the specs, but it's like they're top of the line. So I'm running a coilover with ATS shocks in the back, which back at that time when he built it were like the top of the line rear shocks you can have with Swift springs, and just their coilover setup in the front.
See, but that tells you that you've had them for so long and it's working. I mean, why mess with it?
That's why I haven't touched anything. I think that coilover starting to maybe leak a little bit, so rebuild time, but I haven't touched suspension wise. It's the way I got the car. It's been money since then.
And what else have you done with suspension to, you know, hit it sideways?
You know, pretty much nothing.
Nothing?
He built such I'm not kidding. He built such a good car. I'd love to tell you I tinkered and did this and changed spring rates and this was too soft for me and this was too. It's money in the bank the way that it is right now. I haven't touched a thing.
Well, he's a good builder.
Yeah. Well, that's what he did for a living. So.
Oh, so then there you go.
For a living. So yeah, he spec'd it out. I'm like, I'm not gonna. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not gonna mess with it.
Alrighty, so tell us your wheel and tire setup. What do you got going on?
So wheel and tire setup, I got hooked up with MST. Really great people to work with. I've had a good partnership with them for probably almost 3 years now. So I'm running the MST Time Attack, the original model that came out. These are 15s. They make it in a 16 now. Right. But I'm running that. And then tire setup, I just like the Federals in the front for grip, the RSRs. And then in the rear, I just run like whatever's on sale at the tire spots because I'm going to burn them up anyway. So I happen to have some Achilles on there right now. But I literally run just whatever's on sale at onlinetires.com. I get my tire because that's the nice part about sliding around on 15s. Yeah, when we get the big weekend events, All-Star Bash and those, I have to take like literally, I have 14 wheels and I'll have literally take 14 tires.
Yeah, 14 wheels, sir?
Yeah, they gave me.
You have a problem.
No, they hooked
good
me
problem.
Up, man. It's 14 of the same one, but it's nice because then I just got the tires. I got the tires mounted already, so I just go and these guys are dealing with the tire mounter guys at events, and I'm just going to the truck and grabbing, you know.
I would love to just have a, you know, be on the side having a conversation. Well, you have a conversation with your wife. No, you don't understand. You know, I need them. Yeah, 14. 14. Not even different wheels. It's the same wheels.
It's the same one. Like I said, they hooked me up. They hooked me up big time.
Tell us about your exhaust system. What do you got going on?
So Designcraft, because of the motor that I have, I had to get custom everything. So Designcraft builds the full 3-inch. Right now, I'm running just straight pipe because it's sexy and loud. I do have a muffler with a V-band, an Apex muffler that I run when I'm gonna, because I drive it on the street sometimes. So to quiet things down, I'll run that.
Slap that on. And
yeah, slap it on and try to be a little more low key. Even though the car's obviously
big old
loud.
purple. Yeah. You're doing a great job, sir.
Yeah, the car's loud, the exhaust should be loud, but when I go kind of long distance and I'm gonna street drive it, because usually I trailer it, I'll throw that muffler on just to quiet things down. But it's full 3-inch. Yeah, all the way back.
Tell us about the interior or whatever's left of it.
So I don't like fully gutted race cars too much. So I kind of like to keep the dash. I put the center console back in. When I got the car from Ash, like the bottom part of the center console wasn't in. I just like a little bit more of a complete interior look.
Right.
So that's pretty much it. It's got a F20 cluster that was set up. It came with the car that way. I've added, because I got the AEM V2 engine management, so I added the multi-gauge and then the air fuel ratio, just to have a little bit more of a quick reference to what's going on with sliding in the summertime. Man, it gets hot because the car's really sideways, so you're not getting a lot of air on the radiator. So I like to know what the oil temp is. I like to know oil pressure. I got a radio in there, a full sound system with some little speakers in the back, because I like to, you know, play the radio while I'm sliding. It's got, I did the LED thing because I kind of had to. I think I was one of the first guys sliding around at the night events with the purple underglow and interior lights. And the cage is
gorgeous.
It's just, yeah, the cage is just, it's too much cage for this car. I get really scared about what's going to happen when I have a good front impact, because it's all the way to the shock towers, which isn't necessarily something that you do for drifting, because you kind of want it to be soft in the front if you hit. But Ash built this car for grip driving initially, and that's what you want for grip driving, is a super stiff chassis. So it's almost like too much cage. So I'm knock on wood, hopefully I don't hit anything with the front.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, it depends on your driving as well. So
right.
Yeah. Okay. And then tell us about your hydro. Any short shifting.
So it's just the factory shifter for that trans, for the F-Series trans, and then it's all powered by Max stuff for the hydro. Rival Auto Works installed that base plate. He did a lot of work with me on this car because it didn't have a hydro when I got it, and it's just a lot easier for competing for you know, throttle control, vehicle control, and angle, to have a little bit of a, you know, you could slow your wheel speed a little bit without slowing the front wheel speed. So I had to do the hydro. I've been really happy with it. Yeah, and that's pretty much that setup. It's just like their cheap setup. I'm not even running a dual caliper setup. It's fine with a single caliper, and that's just an inline hydro that I use.
It's awesome.
Yes, for some people it doesn't work, but with this particular car, it was a nice setup.
Right. Okay. And then anything else that you're thinking of? I think you just mentioned the short shifter, right?
No, just the factory shifter.
It's just factory shifter.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of?
That's it. Pretty much just the Sparco pedals that he threw in. It's got the bride seat. That seat's been with me since my old grip driving days in my CRX, and came with me into my 240, and is now in this car. So that seat's been in 3 or 4 cars.
Nice. What are we looking at, man? Tell us.
So you're looking at a K24 out of a TSX, the blocks out of a TSX, and I'm also running a K24 head. A lot of people would argue the K20 head would be better, but since I fully built the motor anyway and put SuperTech valve train in it, it didn't really matter which head I have as much. So I just didn't want to baller the K20 head's probably $600 more than a K24 head. So I'm running K24 everything. It's a 12-to-1 compression, import life. Built the motor is super solid. Compared to the F22, I picked up like around 25 horse, but I picked up 60 foot-pounds of torque. So for drifting, obviously torque is the name of the game when you're drifting, and it's been a monster. Really pleased with it. I was able to run JSP Fat Mix and adapter, so I can run the S2000 intake manifold. I'm also running the S2000 header. It's just modified. So on the K series and the F series, the outer runners are exactly the same length. It's just the inner 2 runners you have to modify because they're like ½ inch closer. So
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So it's really, you just got to buy the K series flange and then have somebody move the 2 middle runners, and that's pretty much it. It's been, everybody's kind of chipped in on this B-side fabrication, design craft. A lot of guys have helped me with the little things. My buddy Sean Adriano, he's a Pro 2 drifter. He's a super good welder. He did all the aluminum coolant because I had to run aluminum coolant tubing, switching from the F series to K series. Things are just in different places. So he did all of that.
Has it been working perfectly? No overheating?
Knock on wood.
Okay.
Yeah. No. So yeah, it does run hot at Grange, just because Grange is like, I'll hot lap Grange and it'll get warm. But other than that, that's really like, it's drift events for us. It's a summertime season. We don't do it in the wintertime for some reason. So I'm always out there when it's like 110 or 100 degrees. And that's a lot to ask when you're not going straight. Like water's, or, you know, your coolant's not getting air.
The displacement and everything.
Yeah. And so, but other than that, I mean, it's running fine. I beat on it, and I beat it like it owes me money, because it does. And so it gets a little warm is all, but I haven't had any serious problems. I just do a cool down lap in between a couple hot laps, and that's it. Yeah.
Cool. And what kind of radiator do you have?
So it's again, Ash swears by a couple things here, and I think it's Atco radiator, and then I'm running a Coil Rad, a Coil oil cooler in the front, and Ash came with this fan. I mean, if you look at the depth of this fan, you're not going to get as much CFM out of anything else. It is a buff fan, super wide, big motor on it. So I think that's pretty much how it's going to sit. I can't anticipate changing anything. When you have somebody that builds such a solid car, it doesn't make sense to play with things.
Right.
You know.
Walk us through the idea of a K. I know you didn't mention that you before you had an F20, right? 22?
Yeah. So yeah, I had an F22 in it. I was about to compete in my first comp and took it to Rhino, and they put some more vinyl on, and I was just street driving it back, and it threw a rod. Like I wasn't, but after however many, I think he put the F in back in 08, So it had been smashed on for that long before I threw a rod. I think it was just kind of the rod wore down and got weak. So I had gone to importers and I was looking at beams because I'm kind of a purist. And I thought Toyota car, it might be nice to throw a Toyota motor back in, and the beams is a really fun setup with this chassis. And then I happened to see an Instagram post from JSP Fab, who makes the mount kit for the F-Series in a Corolla. He's a former Formula Drift guy that was obviously piloting a Corolla back then. And he said, hey, guess what, guys? K-Series mount in a you know, the 8.6 coming up right now. And so
spit your cereal and you're like, hell yeah, it's on.
No, it's I already had 2 F-Series trans. I already have all the pieces minus a couple adapter plates. And just people want too much for the F-Series. I was looking at F22s at importers, unknown mileage, unknown condition, long blocks between 3 and 4 grand.
Nice.
I went to the junkyard after I threw this motor in just to go get a spare. And I went to the whatever pick apart, and I picked up a long block out of a TSX for 260 bucks, and it spins. So rebuildable core for 260 bucks. After I build that, I'm in at $1,000. It's a no-brainer. Like, the conversion to this was expensive because I had to get an adapter plate for the trans and a different clutch flywheel setup. But from now on, it's going to be so much cheaper. If this pops, I'm in the next motor at $1,000. Yeah, that would just rebuild that core that I got. So that's why I went K-Series instead of beams. Beams are getting more expensive and harder to find the importers because it's a JDM only motor. That's the only reason why I steered away from it. And plus, you know, power wise, just NA versus the beams, I'm gonna get an extra 30 horsepower more than I've seen from researching the beams. Torque wise, they're probably pretty similar, but the extra power is nice.
Alrighty then, so tell us, man, thank you so much for, you know, making the time for us. Any future plans and any shout outs?
Just future plan is to have fun with it now that it's up and running again. It was down for a little while, so I'm pleased with that. And for shout outs, if we could just do a little, obviously HPS, Rival Auto Works, a big one for MST Wheels, my wheel sponsor. Shout out to Jimmy up. There's some people who had big hands in this. B-Side Fabrication helped me with a lot of fabrication work on it. Gosh, there's so many. Rival Auto Works himself, Jason merged the engine harness for this. Sean Adriano, big shout out to him. Big shout out to gosh, you always forget when it's time.
Yeah.
Just a lot of
anybody who's don't feel bad because you're gonna forget somebody and someone's gonna be like, dude, really?
Man,
you forgot me?
Shout out, you forgot me. Design Craft was a big one. He did the exhaust from front to back, modified the header, and then B-Side did a lot of after prep work stuff with that because he was a little more available for me. Yeah, so definitely a big shout out to Fine Line Tuning. I'm running their super thick quarter panels. Hold on, check this out. This is the fun part. I had a tire blow out so bad that the fender blew out past the side skirt and it didn't break. Yeah, and I got a video of it. He makes good, nice, thick stuff, man. Really good. And obviously Rhino Customs and Detailing for supporting me over the years with detail, with vinyl, with letting me use their lift when I need to work on the car. They're probably Rhino's probably been my biggest supporter. That's why they get the doors.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
That's cool, man.
that's pretty much it, man. But big time definitely to the guy I got the car from, Ash, for trusting me with his project when he moved out of the country, and I've done everything I can to take good care of it, you know, and for him.
I think you've done a very good job.
Thanks.
Well, Dan, thank you so much, man. I seriously appreciate the conversation. Awesome build, awesome personality.
Thanks, man.
Can't wait to see this one, you know, ripping on the track. And hopefully we get to, you know, very soon get to see your Subaru project. That'd be pretty dope, man. So thank you once again.